Go ahead.
Is there something you really want to see out of Dwayne Haskins as he faces first team reps, supposedly against him?
I want to see him take care of the football, make good, smart decisions, and move the offense in a nice, solid way down the field.
At this point, is he still competing with Mason for that number 2 spot, or Mason's not playing because he locked up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ben and Mason are playing, and Dwayne and Josh are. That's our plan going in. And as we said last week, every game we've got a little different plan that obviously Coach lays out. And we're really excited to watch those two guys play today, or tomorrow, or next day, whenever we're playing.
Now you've got 3 guys, rookies, who will likely be making significant contributions to your offense. As you looked at Pat and Najee and Kendrick, how much of their maturity and mental acuity, that sort of thing, played in your decisions to select them, knowing that they might make an impact quickly on your team?
Well, obviously, I was just hanging out during the selection. I'm not taking any part of that. Obviously, Mr. Uri and Mr. Colbert and Coach made great decisions, and that whole staff. But as far as from a coaching perspective, once they got here, you look at Naj, and I've talked about it, his work ethic, his football IQ, the way he's picked things up. Obviously, there's a lot, and we're growing, we're working. I said it last week. We're going to go right up until we get to Buffalo as far as teaching and working at it. But all those things he's done a great job at. The same with Pat. I think he's done a great job, and obviously you guys saw some flashes of him, but there's still learning and growth there. And then KG and Dan up front have both. That's go up there and play up front in the NFL. There's a lot to it. So all 4 of those guys are really football guys, have come in and acted like pros, and from a coaching perspective, we're very happy with the way they work at it. Very happy.
Pat said he's a guy that really likes the details, and maybe that's why he's so good in the red zone. What have you seen from him in that regard? Have you noticed his kind of detail-orientedness?
I think he's got a real drive, to be great, and obviously, working on his craft, and obviously you saw some of those, inches will make you a star in this game, right? Wherever the ball is placed, and obviously Ben's so good at that, and the time they've put in together, you saw some of that last week, and there's a whole lot more to do and a whole lot more growth to occur, but I think Pat's openness and willingness to do that is impressive, and certainly we're using that to our advantage.
Matt, you didn't get a chance to do the preseason last year, your first go-round in the NFL.
Right.
What's this been like for you, kind of trying to measure everything, looking at guys?
It's a great opportunity to watch guys, in a game situation, with everybody out watching them. The lights are on. I mean, it's a different environment than a scrimmage you might have or something like that. So I've certainly enjoyed it. And, for us, every day is just a work day, and I do appreciate that, the way we handle it, the way Coach sets it up. But it's been a great experience to watch, learn.
Is this last week of the preseason maybe a little more challenging because you have some guys taken off the table for you?
I mean, not obviously. We've done that kind of the whole way through, different guys, and you have that with injuries. Obviously, we come in, we know who we're planning on playing, and things happen. Some guys get nicked up or whatever all the time. So you coach the guys you're going to play with, and you accept the challenge. So no, I wouldn't say it's any more challenging. It's just kind of where we are at the time.
Matt, you're going to stay up in the press box the way you like to speak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, how do you communicate with Ben, or if he wants to communicate off the field?
So obviously, you guys all know this. You've been doing it longer than me in the NFL. So I'm able to talk directly to Ben on the field. Up until 15 seconds. So calling the plays. There's no middleman with that. A lot of guys are obviously doing it in the league. When Ben comes off, Sully's right there with him. We've got a headset for Ben. If Ben wants to talk to me, if I want to talk to Ben, he puts a headset on. We did that last week, and here's what we saw. Here's what we're thinking. What about this? So it's a very fluid situation there. I think it went very well last week, and obviously last week was just what it was. But we feel good about where we're at with that.
Now, there's been times where Ben has taken over play calling, given the situation of the game. Do you feel pretty comfortable, do you have a good rapport with him on when those times will be necessary and kind of how you balance letting him do what he wants as opposed to you making the call?
Yeah, I think we're all that matters is we actually had a conversation about that after he was out. He was still engaged on the phones throughout the game last week once he was done playing, and I think Ben and I have a very similar belief that all we want to do is win games, and we're going to work together. And I've said it from day one. I've learned from him. I listen to him, and obviously we have things that let's give this a look on both sides. Maybe we're doing this, and this is a thought I had, and give this a look, and hey, look at this from his perspective. And all we're trying to do is find a way to score one more point in the team we play every week we play. That's our only goal, and I think all of us are doing that. Certainly not minimizing the great ability and knowledge of the game Ben has, and I've said that multiple times. We're going to use everything we can to get that done.
What progress have you seen from Haskins from the start of OTAs now? What do you like?
I've liked how he's worked every day. I know I've said that, kind of continue to say that. I think he comes into work, he's trying to learn the way he's trying to watch our system, watch what we do. I've been really happy with that. I think he's making quick decisions. So he's improved. Camp's a fun time. You have a good day, you have an average day, you have so I think every day he's moved the right direction for the most part, and I've enjoyed his steady progression. I think Sully's done a good job bringing him along, and again, you come to a new system, you've got to learn it all, and he's hit that from the ground floor with what we did and just kind of progressed in a good way. So we're excited to see him, he and Josh go and see how they perform, out there with a few more reps than they've got.
Urban Meyer was sort of complaining last week. Why do we have to hide what we do during the preseason? Why can't we go and do it? Sort of venting. I think this is before they played the Saints the other night. I mean, is it what we've seen the last couple of weeks? Is this a triple vanilla, or has there been a little bit of cinnamon swirl in there or anything like that?
It's just been enough to move the ball and hopefully win. That's all we're trying to do. So every game we'll do that to the best of our ability.
You put a little more on his plate each week, though, for Dwayne?
Yes and no. It's our job to put players in position to make plays. That's something I've always believed in, and obviously, we got 4 guys that are very talented, have NFL experience, and they're all quarterbacks, but they're all different. They all have different strengths. They all like different throws. So our job is to, you say put more on them, but obviously continue to build the offense to a throw he likes here, or maybe he sees this better. Now in practice, we're going to keep working on the things he doesn't like. But on game day, we're going to certainly try to focus on the plays that they can do well, that do obviously tie into our game plan and what we think the defense gives us.
In the same sense, how do you feel Mason has adapted and progressed?
Oh, Mason's doing a great job. He's making plays, he's making throws. Obviously it's a new system for him in some ways. Obviously the pass game, as we've said, is the same, but I think Mason's working at it. Mason's a student of the game and certainly works very hard to be up on it. So I think obviously we want to score every time we have the ball. We want to make every play. Every play we call is supposed to work, right? We don't call ones that aren't supposed to work. So that certainly falls to me first, but Mason, Ben, all of us, we want every play to work. But Mason's doing a great job of learning. He's ready to go. He's made some really good plays. We just have to continue to improve everybody.
Last 2 for Matt.
Regarding Dwayne getting the start, how can you make him comfortable? Finding that comfort zone with plays he likes. Is that something you really try to take into consideration with play calling and kind of making a guy like Dwayne in this situation?
I would hope that's what the quarterbacks I've coached forever would say. We're working very hard we put together a game plan and that we believe will work against the defense we're playing. To the question earlier about preseason and what you're seeing. Sometimes we see in this, we don't know. So that's the fun part. There's a little bit of getting into a game and seeing what they're really going to do. That's always the case. But obviously that's our job, is to put them in a position to make plays, to make them comfortable, things they like. But certainly it has to tie in. You can't run a route that's great into cover 3, just because he likes it and it's better into cover 2. And we have to work to make those. But all our guys can make those plays.
Do you have that situational, I guess, play calling as well? Obviously, when you play the ball, you on 3rd and 20 than you would do on 3rd and 4. There's certain plays that you guys kind of pick out and say Dwayne is comfortable with on a 3rd and medium situation or a 2nd and long.
Yeah, we talk. I think that's something we do. Sully does a good job, meeting with them. I meet with them as well about what they like and kind of what we think is going to happen. And that's to be, like I said, everything's supposed to work when you call it, and obviously defenses make that a challenge. But we have a plan going in, and then you adjust as you can. But I certainly take into account what they like, and they know what we're thinking.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
All right, guys. Thank you.
We were kind of surprised about 25.
Uh-huh.
Can you fill us in on what went down there and why now?
Well, he was hurt for a lot of the training camp, so it gets down to the nitty gritty. You got to make some choices, tough choices, and Mike and Kevin have never been shy about making those tough choices. So right now, we got to figure out who we got and how we're going to play them and stuff like that. And unfortunately for him, he was out too much, in order to build himself a case to make this football team. And to build yourself a case to make this football team for that nickel position is, you better be able to play some special teams. You better make yourself valuable in just one thing, So, unless you practice, it's hard to do that.
35's not exactly practicing a lot lately either.
Well, should learn something from that.
Does he have less to prove because he's been there, done that guy?
No, I don't think so. I think I need to see them play and how they do and if they do well or not and stuff like that. Not just I, but all the coaches, the secondary coach, everybody. We don't know right now who we're going to play at nickel. We got ideas. We like some of the ideas that we got, but we'll hold off and let those guys see it.
How up to speed is Norwood at this point?
Oh, he's a very smart young man. Very smart young. He's smart enough. He's like Cam Sutton. They're smart enough to play more than one position. So and my thing with all of them is they got to make themselves valuable. How do you make yourself valuable? You make yourself valuable by playing special teams, by playing nickel, by playing safety, by playing corner. Play a lot of different positions. If you can do that, you make yourself valuable to the team. And the more valuable you make it to the team, the best chance you got to make the team.
But as a rookie, is there a risk in, he needs to learn one spot before he can learn two or three?
Yeah, but he's capable of it. I mean, we wouldn't stick him over there if we didn't think he was capable of it. We have confidence that he can do that stuff. So, is he going to play the nickel? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. This ball game and going into the next one. Who's going to be our nickel? We'll see. Go ahead.
Moving, I think he said he likes playing outside. Is that something you guys, because of his preference, because you'd like to keep him in one spot?
He's a good corner. He's a smart corner. He does what we ask him to, a corner. When you're playing nickel, you got to play those slot receivers quite a bit. You got to be able to play man-to-man and stuff like that. But we also like for that guy to be able to blitz a little bit and put pressure on the quarterback. And is he good at that? He can do that. He can do that. He's better suited to covering than he is blitzing. So we kind of have like that position to be physical and to be able to blitz a little bit and to cover also. It's not an easy position to play.
Keith, any communication yet with Steph? He's going to be able to play the first game against Buffalo. Any communication with him, or where are you thinking?
No, there's no communication problems.
Have you been in communication with him about his plans to come back?
Who's that?
Stephon Tuitt.
Oh yeah. It's not a problem. He's here all the time. He's always to the meetings and stuff like that. When is he coming back? Is when we need him to come back. And does he need to come back and get in shape, stuff like that? Sure he does. But we're not concerned about it right now. Hopefully next week we'll get him back. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
When Sutton played in the slot, previously it was a lot of times the dime defensive back. Is there a guy that...
There's a difference in a nickel and a dime.
Yeah, is there a guy that you see fitting into that role best right now?
Well, right now our two inside linebackers are fitting best in that role. And that's a nickel for us, not a dime package. Dime package for us is 4 DBs, 2 safeties, and a linebacker. So we're using our nickel right now. Our nickel has been good for us. We like it. We like to be able to do some of the things that we want to do, not just cover all the time, but to blitz and put pressure on the quarterback and run a couple different coverages to make us a little bit more versatile. We're better off in nickel, okay? But if you look at the times that we're going to play dime in the league, probably 10%. Probably 10%. Depending on if people start throwing 4 wide receivers on us, of course we want to match up and put the people out there. So we'll see in terms of what do we have to defend. We'll go through that. Nobody's showing anything or trying to hold the cards close to their vest, so we'll see as we go along. We want to be ready to have a dime situation or a dime personnel group and feel confident about that and all that, and we will do that. But right now, I think we're better off, like everybody in the league is running what we call kings. Kings are 3 wide receivers that are tied in the back. That's what everybody in the league is doing right now, so we're going to match it with our nickel group because we feel like that's putting our best ball players on the field.
Did you say 10% dime last year?
It's about 10 to 15%. Not a lot. Not a lot. I mean, how many times did you see 4 wide receivers last year?
Yeah, it was like 12 snaps in the Cleveland.
Yeah, it ain't a lot. It's not a lot. It's not something that we got to build a personnel group for and rep it a ton of times. Now we might build a personnel group and rep it some, so just so we're ready for it if they give it to us. But it's not going to be like a nickel group.
So what you're saying is 2 nickels with more guys than 1 guy.
Well, they got too many guys. I mean, too many DBs. We got a bunch of DBs in there. We'll see how they do. If we got anybody that's good blitzers, we'll stick them in there, nickel, stuff like that. We want to pressure. We just don't want to play blasé football. We want to get out there and get after people. So if we can find a guy to do that, the better off we're going to be.
Obviously, it doesn't look like TJ is going to get a preseason game in. Does that give you any pause or concern, or do you feel like he'll be ready regardless?
I think he'll be ready cardiovascular. What I mean by that is this. The only way you can daggum get in hitting shape is you got to hit. You can't do nothing else. There's nothing else you can do. You got to hit to do that. And if he don't get the hitting in before we go into the first game, then we got to be careful of how we use it and make sure that we keep him healthy as much as we can. And the biggest thing for me is, hey, the hitting shape part of it. You can't duplicate that until you put the pads on and go out and play. And he hasn't done that yet. So
Can you do that here?
what?
Can you do that here in practice, or does that?
Well, you got to do it in practice to have pads on. How many times we had pads on? We only had a certain number of times we could have pads on according to the collective bargaining agreement for preseason. So, you know, we want to
You get like one shot before the Bills. Or?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think we have one. Yeah, like you said, one practice, and that'll be it.
You just line them up and hit them like.
No, I'm gonna go over and smack him a couple times. You know what I mean? No.
Is that allowed in the CBA?
No, not really. Not really.
Head
No.
slap is out for the coaches
No,
too? That's
no, can't do it.
Can't
Can't
do
do that. Can't do that. That's not. Wouldn't be a good idea. The thing that's hard though is gauging him physically. You know, as to where he's at and stuff like that. If he hadn't been hitting, which he hadn't been hitting. You know, but you know he's got to do what he thinks is right for himself. That's part of professional football, I think, and you know, had it even when I played a long time ago. So.
Just real quick, just one about this game here. Mike was saying he expects Carolina might use a lot of their starters.
Right.
How instructive is that for you? When you get a look at some of the guys.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see if they can help us. You know, it gives us a better chance of looking at them playing against quality NFL players, and that will tell us if they can compete in this league. Give us a better look anyway. Anything else, guys? All right, see you.
Thanks, Keith.